pleased to connect with all of you. Greetings, we are the Arcturian Council. We are pleased to connect with all of you. We have been tuning in to the desires of humanity, and we are noticing that there are more and more of you who are asking for assistance in helping others. You have a desire to be of service, but you don't know exactly how to do it. You're not really sure what you have to give, and you're also not so certain how to deliver what you do have to give humanity. First of all, we want to let you know how important it is that you have the desire at all to help your fellow humans, and we also want you to understand how you are changing the consciousness of the human collective by putting that desire out into the universe. We also want you to know that we and others like us are very happy to work through you in order to help all of humankind. We make ourselves available in every moment of every single one of your days, and you can attune yourselves to us by feeling for the vibration that you access when you are receiving these transmissions. You can rest assured that you are in fact tuning into us, to our energy, and to our intention to be of service. And when you remember that feeling, you access it again. And when you access it, you access us. We are happy to work through you to help humanity raise the level of its consciousness. All of the issues that you see around the world can be helped by raising of the level of consciousness within the human collective. Therefore, the best thing you can do for your fellow humans is to hold that vibration within you that is the desire to be of service, and then you can connect to beings like us and all of the other beings in the higher realms, and we will run our energy through you, making our consciousness more available to each and every human within your collective. And the most beautiful part of all is that you don't have to ask and then wonder if we are available or if we are willing, because we always are. We are always here for you, and we are very excited to work with all of you who want to be of service but don't know how exactly to go about helping your fellow humans. Leave that to us. Open yourselves up to receive us, and then sit back and notice the changes that we can initiate together when we work as a team. We are on Team Humanity, and we know that you are all as well. We are the Arcturian Council, and we have enjoyed connecting with all of you.
You may be going through an awakening spiritually, and when the ego comes in through the back door, you begin to feel very superior to ordinary people who are not awakening. On a collective level, then, as humans awaken, there will no longer be completely pointless conflict between nations. But it must begin with the absence of pointless conflict on an individual level. The way in which you experience life is a kind of mirroring back to you your predominant state of consciousness. So if you're engaged in continuous conflict and unpleasantness year after year with people, if you're engaged maybe in countless court cases with all these nasty people who want something from you, who are all, if you find that when you talk about people, you may find that the strange thing is that those people that you talk about, they are always wrong and you are always right. Isn't that strange? If that is still the case with you, you might have to, it's very unlikely because you're here, but you might just be, when you talk to others, to third people about others, this is what he said, this is what she said, and then he did this, and then he did that, and then I said, and he never did, he should have, but he didn't, and if you find the strange phenomenon that you are always right and others are always wrong, that's an important realization. How is that possible? I must be superhuman. And in the eyes of the ego, of course, that's kind of the case. Because the ego, which is that which is perhaps the major obstacle towards the realization of that deeper dimension, in the ego strives incessantly for some kind of superiority. And so this is what you are condemned to when you have not yet awakened, even to at least to some extent, to the deeper essence of who you are. The awareness, the presence, the stillness. Then you are in the prison of your own personality. And it's not a pleasant place to be. I sometimes watch people and they are so burdened with their personality, so in the grip of that thing. What is personality? It's the sum total of their mental, emotional conditioning from the past. Mental, emotional conditioning. Mental conditioning means certain thought forms, mind structures that become repetitive, certain narratives concerning your life, my life, says the ego, a certain narrative concerning my other people in my life, what I did, what they did to me, my victories, my defeats, many things form the egoic conditioned self. And one important aspect of the egoic conditioned self is it talks about my life all the time, in the head and out aloud. And my life is what concerns me. Obviously, it's my life. And what is my life? It's a story in my head, but they don't know that. They think it's the reality, but it's a story in my head. It's a narrative. It's the predominant narrative in my mind. And it's the narrative through which I interpret everything that I come into contact with. It becomes a screen through which I interpret other people, situations, places, events. I don't know that because I am so identified with that mental emotional conditioning that it has become me. It has become me and my life. I don't know anything else. That's the fate still of the majority of humans on the planet. Although the minority that is awakening is growing, it is still a minority. Most humans are still totally in the grip of their egoic self. And probably most of you are moving still in and out of your egoic self. This is usually how the awakening process happens. Sometimes you're drawn back completely into it. And it talks and there's the search for superiority, and you compare yourself to others, and you need to be right. In any argument, being right is more important than the truth. And you're always right. That's a good sign that there's ego. So the egoic entity, I'll just say a few more words about it because it can be very deceptive. It can use you, come back in, sometimes through the back door. By that I mean, you may be going through an awakening spiritually, and when the ego comes in through the back door, you begin to feel very superior to ordinary people who are not awakening. And now what does that mean? It means, and this is always ego, there is a conceptual sense of self, and you derive your identity, you derive your sense of who you are from a conceptual, mind-made self. If, for example, let's take myself in the world tells me, now you are a great spiritual teacher. Now, 25, 30 years ago, so he didn't tell me that. The world basically was saying, who are you? Nobody. Nothing has changed. If I walked around with an image of myself, this requires a lot of awareness because what I'm describing now has happened to some spiritual teachers. The spiritual teacher is only one example. If I had a mental image of myself as a great spiritual teacher, I would be lost. Again, lost in ego. And so anything that you do, let's stick with spiritual teacher, because some of you, I know some of you are already spiritual teachers in whatever capacity. Perhaps you're a therapist, perhaps you are working with people in some capacity, and many others of you are destined to become spiritual teachers. It's either directly or indirectly, either formally or non-formally. Of course you're destined, because the world desperately needs awakening and awakened humans. And so a danger, no matter where you are, but right now we're just talking about becoming a spiritual teacher or being a spiritual teacher in whatever way. Anything that becomes a conceptual sense of self means the ego is coming in through the back door. And so, is it not true then that at this moment I am a spiritual teacher? Yes, but only in the sense that it's a function. And while this function is happening right here and now, I could say, I'm a spiritual teacher. But when I walk off this stage and out the door, if I then carried a mental image of myself as a great spiritual teacher, I would be walking like that. And of course, everybody else would be inferior in my mind.
All right,
And without knowing it, I would be walking around with a huge ego. And sooner or later, the ego would contaminate or obstruct my ability to teach. It could contaminate the teaching with egoic falsehood, or it could completely block the intuitive teaching that happens.
Lucidchart makes intelligent diagramming easy and helps your best ideas become real.
When you get out of the way. When you get out of the way, something that transcends the limited you, I call that sometimes the surface I, that gets out of the way, and then the deep I emerges as the unconditioned consciousness, and it can use your mind. And that's the way to ultimately use your intelligence in a way that no longer puts the intelligence in the service of madness. So, being a spiritual teacher is a function. When I go away from here, I need to immediately relinquish a mental image, a narrative in my mind that tells me who I am. That is a conceptual sense of self. But of course, this not only applies to spiritual teachers, it applies to anybody in any situation.
takes a number of bits. Takes devices, it takes a lot of Yeah.
We got to walk to a Primal and come back, and then go to charity again. Say charity very much, anyway.
Yeah.
I got someone to buy, then we carry things back. Leave it later, then we go to Asda. I did buy some sausages for Charlie. Maybe I can go to Asda, you can take Charlie around, walk around there. That's what it's an actual walk. Margaret, they have that car for a long time.
Yeah.
They have that car. They used to have a blue car,
Yeah. 3, F4, F2, F4.
Dbug 220,629.
220,629. The message isn't showing up properly. View in browser. A new message from the High Priest Earth *******.
With Asana, you can share documents and set deadlines so the projects move along seamlessly. Asana.com.
Are you breathing deeply?
A lesson with Earth.
Want your team to collaborate in one place? With Asana, you can share documents, assign tasks, and set deadlines so that projects move along seamlessly. Collaboration made easy with Asana.
Posted by 4 Minutes. Are you? I am Earth. For some of you I appear in the form of a teacher of humanity, a brother, or an accompanying guide. My presence meets many of you in the high spaces of light to which you reach. I am present to lead you and support your personal journey of ascension, as part of the transcendence of humanity. In recent sessions, I have downloaded many new information about the ability of the physical staff to move in the expanses of light, to move between the dimensions, and how to contain the new time present in the outline of planetary time networks. There are those of you who are already present in the ability to move to multidimensionality in the expanses of time back and forth, and we see them. The World Tellus Organization is an organization established by Aurelia Louise Jones. We are his volunteer organization and fully support the Helmurian mission for the transcendence of the planet and humanity, an organization dedicated to the dissemination of information and teachings from Tellus containing keys of wisdom on the way to self-realization and an enlightened life. Led by the High Priest Adama. The organization's goals: spreading the Lemuranic mission around the world. Awaken the heart of Moriah that dwells within all of us. Reaching out and helping anyone who seeks to embrace the vibration of Lemuria and find the lost paradise. Support for Taylor's writings and work in all languages. Establishment of a website for Moani. Maintaining contact with Tellus organizations around the world for common purposes. Offer courses and workshops for personal and planetary development. The organization's leaders in Israel, Ayel Litziegel and Nuit Tabankin, and the entire team of volunteers and heart leaders who work on a fully voluntary basis. The community of Telos Lemuria Israel. The community page is open to anyone who feels the call to learn and grow along with the Lamuran knowledge that comes. You are invited to the community meetings for growth and expansion. The community in its fundamental role is a group of human beings who nourish each other, and support each other, and give the strength of one to the individual, and the individual is one of the whole. Communities arise because of adversity or a common vision. Communities arise because of shared knowledge and a desire to realize the new creation together. Therefore, in the human world, human beings now feel more than ever the need to be part of a community. Be part of those who carry the frequency that corresponds to me, the exact frequency, which carries the same essence of consciousness. We are aware in the community of Talos, of being the bearers of resonance to Moriah, and we who constitute a community of light, which has been open to all mankind, maintain our beings embodied in the 5th dimension and even more. In the last decade we have been a spiritual home for books of light and spirit. We established a spiritual ecological village in the western Negev, Telos village. Conducting studies from the Nakul Hall of Wisdom to ancient Moriah. We go on journeys in Israel and around the world to open the gates of heaven and cosmic light missions. We invite you to take part in the community of light, which is a living model of Tellus in the 5th dimension and even more. Read more about the Telos community. Check out my website. https://en.teloslemuriaisrael.com. The Telos Lemuria community, towards the second decade, a living and existing model. The meaning of the community in the New World. The marches of planetariats are really taking shape these days. We are witnessing and seeing the overthrow of the authorities, the economy that is changing its appeal, the education and medical systems, the whole of human society. Even if we have not yet seen the new one, it is right here. The release of the old paradigm that has held us in bondage and pain for so long, the release of the matrix and the new resonance. From it we outline the new vision, for the existence of a new world. We are not talking about high words, but let's look and see the last decade. Let us look at the personal level, each one for himself. Indeed you are the ones who read my words. What brought you to the community of light Telos Lemuria? Each has a unique journey, which at a special point in time here you have reached the resonance of Lemuria, the same continent that carries the wonders of heaven, the resonance of the Sacred Heart. Now you have the opportunity to create the world of your dreams. Find out what your dream vision means. In those days on the mother continent of Moriah, together we echoed the love, together we echoed the construction of the worlds operating in unity, the worlds of light and material worlds, sharing and brotherhood were one with creation, for in order to create physical creation one must unite the forces of light. In order to create physical creation one must unite the high resonance of thought and thus create a new creation. The ability to propel the high energies is what created the consciousness of paradise. The people of the planet today cry out for a declaration for a life of peace and harmony, the warriors of light as you are called, you who bring the truth, and the free will to a life of fulfillment through ease of thought and action. How do you do that? The structure of society is a structure of human patterns, which were created tens of thousands of years ago. Your bodies, different from each other, for each body a unique texture and element color, which could contain a certain energetic density.
The
For every
structure of
body
the
essence and
three-dimensional
function, your
chariot, the
bodies
current
are
structure
the ones that
I
feed
received
each other.
after the
The
last
human
trip in
person is
Shasta's
not
land
sustainable in
showed
the
me
world
it
when
just
he is
in the
alone.
village.
Therefore,
The
even in
multi-dimensional
those days,
chariot,
human
the
beings
double
get
star
constructed
is
and
never the
represented
gain
in
and
new
new
days
on
and
highest
ages.
vibrant to the
The
consciousness
community
and
is
the
fundamentally
deepening of
built
and
to
allow
create
us
free
to enter our
human
area
beings to
language
nourish
of
each
light
other
and
and
word
support
with
each
skills.
other, and give the
Balance
power
is
of
an
one
accelerator
individual,
process
and the
of
individual
present
is
in our
one of whole.
consciousness, but it must be noted that
Communities
we must
arise
be
because of
intent on
distress
purity
or a
of
shared vision. Communities arise because of shared knowledge and a desire to fulfill the new creation together. 4. In the human world, human beings today feel more than ever the need to be part of a community. To be a part of those who carry the frequency that suits me, the exact frequency that carries the same essence of consciousness. The Telos Lemuria community in Israel, a living and existing model. We from the city of light Telos, we have established the home of the sons of Lemuria, and we create the Akashic registers and run a community that works on the resonance of volunteering. Indeed we give, and flow the cosmic energy flowing within us for the sake of the community, for the sake of humanity and the planet. And we get to receive the abundance for the creation of our personal, unique, support and vision of the other mission that gives us the communication, and when there is a state of shared learning we meet telepaths and contacts for deep understanding, and creating frequency flow. We have teachers and mentors who support and help in disharmony situations, in order to maintain the high resonance in the community. Like you, we take care of our bodies, we take care of the balance of the high and crystalline body of light, we take care of nourishing the bodies with the accuracy of the light capsules. Maintaining a high frequency is unique and central during our day. We are aware in the community of Telos, that we are bearing the resonance of Moriah, and we who constitute a community of light, which has been open to all mankind, maintain our beings embodied in the fifth dimension and even more. We are watching you, these days and what is happening in your systems of government. A high level of maturity is required in order to move to the next stage, to which the planet is preparing. Man must awaken and unify the level of frequencies. The nature of the gates of transcendence, which we have been teaching for the past decade, have begun to open these days to understanding in some of humanity. We look forward to your continued growth. When you jump a step of light, you are again looking for those who speak and resonate the light with you, and you are magnetized to the same community that gives you the feeling of home. It is no coincidence that many are coming to Telos Lemuria these days. The return home is the return to the light and love, the unity and joy that exists in your heart, where the gate to freedom for divinity is loved. In the last decade, we have succeeded in establishing in Israel the cell of light that carries the being of Telos to Moriah, the community of light that exists in the resonance of unconditional giving. From the broad heart, it is the one that gives many souls the feeling that this is home, embracing, understand that in the Agrata network there are many light cities, some of which are inhabited by the Lemurian, but Telos was chosen to be the shining central city and echoes the heart of Moriah for learning and development. From Nakul Mystery School, we teach and research, enlighten and support you in the new insights born in your mind. Shared learning is blessed because you are the ones who enrich each other, and you are the ones who give and open the way for you to achieve enlightenment and spiritual freedom. See yourself as influencing the community as it is influencing you. We see the growth that has taken place in the last decade, and invite you to learn again with us. As the resonance of your being develops and rises in the frequencies of light, we are revealed to you, in a discourse in the media and even in a personal encounter as you embark on the exciting journey to your home on Mount Shasta. Together we learn how to create the magical life and paradise for yourself and your loved ones. Understand this, the beloved or family, the community of Telos Lemuria, all life on the planet will soon return to the original well-being granted to them at the beginning of its creation. When you are one in the community of light, in which you feel your heart, you accelerate the ability of personal and even collective learning and growth. The Telos Lemuria community for the next decade, a new world. We have trained the foundation of the community of light in Israel, and we continue to train the leadership of my daughters, who are embodied in physical life as Ayelet and Norka, the notes to the fulfillment of light in community in Israel, and together with other leaders of Telos organizations across the planet. The commitment of my daughters, at the level of the human whale, is so great that many cannot fully understand their essence. In their corresponding incarnation in Telos, and even in the house star Mo. Indeed, this commitment is unique, but more and more human beings will understand that this is the way to life that resonates with the fulfillment of God's principles in true brotherhood in the community. Giving them is an example of a move to actually fulfill and enable the existence of the consciousness of the fifth dimension, a move in fact. We are aware that one must pass through the gates of initiation of the laws of the fifth dimension upon entering the gates of the city of Telos. That is why we reach out to you, and our wisdom for shared learning. The first step, feel loved in your heart and come out of human laziness. Allow yourself to open up to apprenticeships that will come to refine your consciousness. Allow yourself to open the door to the Light Telos community and also to the memories of Lev Moriah, and other magical places. Dear ones, remember that love is the key word. Love will open all the doors in your mouth and move you quickly on your path to unlimited spiritual freedom. From love you come and to love you will return. I am Earth, your Lemurian brother. Hebrew meaning of Adam. The Hebrew word, Adam, which is translated as Adam, simply means human. There are other words for man in Hebrew, such as Ish and Geva, but Adam best signify the idea of humanity. The word Adam is connected with several other Hebrew words. This connection clarified its meaning for the original readership of the Book of Genesis. The ancient Hebrews understood something we generally do not.
Just by
Two words connected with Adamah, Adam, red, and Adamah, ground, earth, which show us that the basic meaning of Adam's name was somehow associated with both redness and ground. Another word, dam, blood, comes from a different root but has similar sounds and thus may have sprung to mind via association. Explore here. Hebrew Insights from Revelation, Jewish Studies for Christians Book 1, Kindle edition. Book of Revelation is a 1st century Jewish document that recognizes Jesus as ultimate emperor of worldwide empire. For many centuries, the interpretation of Revelation was almost solely in the hands of those unfamiliar with Jewish language, context, or culture. Therefore, the cultural and linguistic disconnect was substantial. This book begins to remedy this situation by returning the Book of Revelation into its original Jewish and Hebraic contexts, without ignoring its Greco-Roman setting as well. Sign up for the community newsletter. Telos Lemuria community page on Facebook. Telos Lemuria's Facebook page, https://www.facebook.com/telosisr. Blessed are you, I am the earth. For some of you I appear in the form of a teacher of humanity, a brother, or an accompanying guide. My presence meets many of you in the high spaces of light to which you reach. I am here to lead you and support your personal journey of transcendence, as part of the transcendence of humanity. In recent sessions, I have downloaded a lot of new information about the ability of the physical staff to move in the spaces of light, to move between the dimensions and how to accommodate the new time present in the layout of the planetary time networks. Some of you are already present in the ability to move multidimensionally in the spaces of time back and forth, and we see them moving. There are those who learn and are open to receiving the new information. It is important for me to tell you, beloved sons of light, you are the ones who choose your capacity for inclusion and motivation in the process of the spiritual journey. You are the ones who have the ability to prepare your bodies for a new consciousness break, or be fixed and even shut off from the higher worlds of light. These days, many of you are feeling the changes on the planet. To some it seems that certain areas are infected with darkness which continue to cling to human consciousness. Some of you are already moving in the mastery space and have high consciousness of inner discourse accuracy and high frequencies, as we teach in various encounters. I want to talk to you about your new ability, to be human beings vibrating in the resonance of the 5th dimension. When we carry with us the consciousness of light and love, integrity and truth, we identify those souls who purify their bodies, and begin to connect to a common discourse. Could there be a human body that communicates with the beings of light in the higher consciousness of light, and it does not speak the truth? Or what does he put blocking substances into his body? Dear ones, the process of moving light energy in your body is very simple. Demands is self-discipline and a code of human conduct that contains the values of divinity. Unconditional compassion, love, devotion, and faith. When you are present in this consciousness, the light centers in your body are open and have the ability to contain a high energetic mass of light. Then we see you resonating in a huge light. Unfortunately, the human beings, whose consciousness has fallen with the consciousness of the Messiah, still hold on to the resonance of human survival that contains the totality of possible manipulations, and sometimes dishonesty or even low conversation. When the consciousness of the heart is connected to the brain, then the higher intelligence of man is connected to the essence of the I Am, and the light waves of the 5th dimensional consciousness wash the consciousness of the messenger light. So we are present in the consciousness of the 12th dimension and more, having the ability to lower our frequency and communicate with you. Dimension consciousness is the one present in the spaces of light cities in the depths of the planet. It is the one that drives the crystals of crystals present under the centers of your mother continents. It is the one that drives the opening of light gates to new souls who choose to enter the physical world. Beloved, there are indeed many roles in the following dimensions of light to support you, to support all human beings moving between the material world and the infinite spiritual world. As the Son of Light, again practicing the work with the high mass of light so that the physical body and the upper body of the self unite into one, there is no longer the next separation manifested in a huge time between human function and physical meta abilities. How many times have you seen a person with low physical skills for multidimensional communication, but due to the gap with the emotional, physical and mental bodies, he closed and failed to fulfill his high essence? These days, the worlds of light, carefully examining those who unite the bodies and have the ability to lead and teach humanity to the higher spiritual knowledge. Human humility and the accuracy of integrity processes are key gates. The false prophets are about to be shut down and will no longer be able to hang on to human beings. Those who will bring the truths of their hearts will be able to lower the rain of light in the higher worlds of light for the sake of the new humanity. Beloved, from the city of light Telos, from the center of headquarters, I tell you that the world above the earth these days is different than you have known in the last 100 years. The change of consciousness and the flow of energy within your bodies and between the various bodies create one collective consciousness. We are awake and seeing those who are awakening and persevering in the way of maintaining the resonance of light, and we are witnessing a part of humanity that has not yet awakened. It is important for me to explain, beloved, not all human beings will awaken, not all human beings will have the metaphysical ability to move between dimensions. Can you acknowledge that? Years ago I passed the messages through the Daughter of the Light tent, because the planet is undergoing a fundamental change in changing poles. The field is different and we taught you how to rebuild the field around your limb. In order to pass the change easily, animals change their flight direction and migration above the earth. Again, the planet's field has been renewed and given the planet full of communication with parallel worlds and mother stars. The communication has been renewed and today many of you are returning home to renewed communication with your high soul family. Human consciousness unites at this time. The spiritual consciousness and the scientific consciousness also unite, thus giving an end to those skeptics. Science will be the one to announce the new laws of the universe and begin to learn to move in time and space. So beloved, we will be able to meet on the physical side, and seeing those who move with us together will open to multidimensional vision. The essence of time and space will take on a different meaning, and the planet will undergo the current electromagnetic density and ascend into unity with the rising light consciousness of the constellations in the current universe. Beloved, from the depths of Telos I pass on to you the present information of light. I invite you to come to learning, and to the temples of light and wisdom. Sons of Lemuria, sons of Atlantis, sons of the stars, the eternal fabric is the endless journey of the soul. See yourself, moving in a space to transcend and fulfill the joy and abundance in your life. See yourself, moving in space to ascend with the ability to telepath, create alchemy and abundance in your life, and be one with the consciousness of the planet Gaia. From the heart of Telos, from the council building and its representatives, we work in partnership with representatives and leaders of the Lemurian light organizations throughout the planet. Telos light organizations have been carefully established and its representatives have been selected to unite rigorous tests to carry the frequencies and light for a long time. Each of you, beloved, welcome to take part in the wonderful light community that represents the Telos frequency above the earth. We are one with you, accompanying and supporting. Blessed are you. I'm Earth. Adamea Letalos. Channeling Dimensions. The High Priest Earth. 71 Views. The Global Telos Organization, an organization founded by Aurelia Louise Jones, is a volunteer organization that fully supports the Lemurian mission for the transcendence of the planet and humanity, a dedicated organization for disseminating information and teachings from Telos that contain keys to wisdom on the path to self-fulfillment and enlightened life.
blood in which the consciousness of the individual can travel. So in the ancient ages, the seers, rishis, very advanced yogis are able to teleport their consciousness into distant lands to be able to understand what's happening on the other side of the world. Now, how can you experience yoga? So that comes along with the whole understanding of the mind-body activation. So we talk a lot about the chakras, we talk about the
organization.
The Global Telos Organization, an organization founded by Aurelia Louise Jones, is a volunteer organization that fully supports the Lemurian mission for the transcendence of the planet and humanity, a dedicated organization for disseminating information and teachings from Telos that contain keys to wisdom on the path to self-fulfillment and enlightened life. The goals of the organization: spreading the Lemurian mission around the world, awaken the heart of the Mariah that dwells within all of us, reaching out and helping anyone who wants to embrace Lemuria's vibration and find the lost paradise. Support for Telos reporters and work in all languages. Establishment of a site for Murani. Keeping in touch with Telos organizations around the world for common purposes. Offering courses and workshops for personal and planetary development. The organization's leaders in Israel Ayel Siegel and Nuit Tabankin, and the entire team of volunteers and heart leaders who work on a full-time basis. The Stargate is an interdimensional doorway that facilitates healing on all levels, DNA reactivation, and the awareness of one's quantum self. The Trinity Table is an experimental medium for profound relaxation, spiritual and emotional healing, and expansion of consciousness. Additional pages: Aurelia Louise Jones, The High Priest Earth, A Story for Moria, Mount Shasta, Ayel Siegel, Nuit Tabankin, Exaltation Ceremony, 7 The Holy Flames, Channeling and Meditations, Ayelit 0542024635, Light 0537635288, Email telosisrael@gmail.com. Address: Oren 18 Maximum, Israel. New World, Telos Lemuria. Channeling Community. Inside each of you lies a divine spark. Invite him to kindle your soul's fire on your journey home, Adama. The Israel branch of Telos Lemuria is a non-profit organization and an affiliate of the Global Telos organization founded by the late Aurelia Louise Jones. It is named after the city of Telos. The city is known as a light city within the fifth dimension, one of a network of inner light cities on the planet Earth, and is located under Mount Shasta in the state of California. The city was founded by Lemurian survivors after the decline of the Lemurian continent. The World Organization is following Aurelia's path of disseminating Lemurian light through messages from the Masters, led by Adama, the High Priest. Among the organization's other activities are meditation sessions, classes and workshops, elevation ceremonies, the establishment of a vast, loving and supportive community comprised of a people of light, spiritual journeys around the world, and a unique workshop on the summit of Mount Shasta. The purpose of the organization is to inspire humanity spiritually. We strive to attain a world of unity, of peace, tranquility, harmony, unconditional love and beauty, a world in which there is parity among all races, nations and religions, a world in which we are all one large family. During this period, there are many planetary changes taking place, time is accelerated, gates are opened, enabling transcendence for those spiritually awakened people. A karma cleansing process is available to encourage reconnecting to a higher self. We must take responsibility for ourselves and the world around us and actively participate in creating a new world. Nakul, Hall of Lemurian Knowledge. Welcome to Nakul, the Hall of Lemurian Knowledge, which is located in the city of Light Telos and contains all Lemurian knowledge. From this knowledge our courses were built, which are taught by teachers from the community and by the guidance of High Priest Adama. The structure of the three-dimensional chariot. The current structure, I received after the last trip in Shasta. Land showed me it just for the village. What is the chariot? The chariot creates a reciprocal connection between our high intelligence activity, the source of the deity present in countless universes, and the physical system of life in the land. We know that man is only one healthy form in space-time. With the activation of the chariot we first connect inward to ourselves and balance all the layers, connecting to the being of light that we, in combination of our physical and divine aspect, can go beyond time and space to the gates of parallel universes. The multidimensional chariot is a double star in which the gate to the new consciousness vibrates. Through the delicate tuning of this gate we learn to translate the language of light into words, into tones. We learn to listen to the voice of the heart, to understand it, to understand the spiritual teachers we will meet in the journeys we will make. This chariot was built of 12 vertices at the crystal end, at the top vertex crystal alpha and at the bottom end omega crystal. The current vehicle accelerates the speed of light resonance within us 12 times. The energy field of the chariot along with our electromagnetic field expands and connects to the consciousness of the universe. The chariot was asked to be in our spiritual village, as it is now an open active portal, with a high mass of energy present in the place, and is intended for human beings who are connected to the consciousness of their divinity, and allow us to enter our area of light of life. The tool heals, balances, and accelerates the processes present in our consciousness, but it must be noted that we must be intent on purity of heart, purity of thought, and free from ego. At the inauguration of the chariot, in the village of Telos for Moriah, Israel in Stay Ovron, a guided and tailored session will be held for each of the participants.
The structure of the three-dimensional chariot, the current structure I received after the last trip in Shasta land, showed me it just for the village. What is the chariot? The chariot creates a reciprocal connection between our high intelligence activity, the source of the deity present in countless universes, and the physical system of life in the land. We know that man is only one healthy form in space-time. With the activation of the chariot, we first connect inward to ourselves and balance all the layers connecting to the being of light that we, in combination of our physical and divine aspect, can go beyond time and space to the gates of parallel universes. The multi-dimensional chariot is a star in which the gate to the new consciousness vibrates. Through the delicate tuning of this gate, we learn to translate the language of light into words, into tones. We learn to listen to the voice of the heart, to understand it, to understand the spiritual teachers we will meet in the journeys we will make. This chariot was built of 12 vertices at the crystal end, at the top vertex crystal alpha and at the bottom end omega crystal. The current vehicle accelerates the speed of light resonance within us 12 times. The energy field of the chariot along with our electromagnetic field expands and connects to the consciousness of the universe. The chariot was asked to be in our spiritual village, as it is now an open active portal, with a high mass of energy present in the place, and is intended for human beings who are connected to the consciousness of their divinity, and allow us to enter our area of light of light. The tool heals, balances and accelerates the processes present in our consciousness, but it must be noted that we must be intent on purity of heart, purity of thought, and free from ego. At the inauguration of the chariot in the village of Telos for Moriah, Israel in Sdei Avraham, a guided and tailored session will be held for each of the participants.